tonight on CKPG News. No independent candidates were elected as MLAs in Saturday's election. We look into why that is. Plus, BC's Court of Appeal has reduced the sentence of a man convicted of shooting up the Vanderhoof RCMP detachment. And the Prince George Spruce Kings welcome some new additions as they set out on a road trip to Powell River this weekend. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight. It seemed like a statistical impossibility. The sheer number of independent candidates running in the 2024 provincial election was record-breaking, but none were elected as MLA, and there may be speculation around why that is. Cheryl Jan reports in tonight's top story.
The ballots say it all. A record number of independent candidates at 40, but despite the numbers, not one of those 40 grabbed a seat. Mike Bernier was one of those names. Bernier was first elected to the Legislative Assembly in 2013. In 2017, he was re-elected in his riding of Peace River South with 76% of the vote, the highest a BC Liberal has ever been elected in provincial history. But he only got a portion of that on Saturday, 25%. Nonetheless, he felt that based on the sheer number of independents running,
to see none of them elected or not even close was a little bit of a surprise, but it also reminded a lot of us when we talked afterwards that it wasn't so much just the independents, it was quite a movement of change, and especially in rural British Columbia.
We talk about sometimes how, the polls might be wrong, but 9 times out of the 10, polls are right. And if you look at this time, most polls were within the margin of error about the actual eventual percentage of vote, 44.5% roughly for each party.
Other Northern BC incumbent MLAs that ran as independents are Corley Oakes, who got 22%, and Dan Davies, who came in at 20%.
I made the decision that I made as leader of BC United to suspend our campaign. I will be withdrawing our candidate nominations.
That was August 28th, the day before most of those who ran as independents in the election campaigned under the banner of the BC United Party. It gave those candidates very little time to get a platform in place.
The fact that with basically 1 week before the election, we had to start over by no longer being BC United candidates and being independents, having to start fundraising, ordering signs, putting teams together in a different way, in a different message. Because, of course, a week before the election, my message was, here's my platform, BC United.
Political science instructor for CNC Chris Beach says the move by Falcon may have made a difference.
Politics is a tough game, and that's why a lot of people just maybe that could be running, have something to offer, don't put their name forward, right? It can be very competitive, very difficult environment.
But while the next 4 years have yet to be determined, the independent candidates like Bernier are spending a little time with family. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
So the people have spoken, and the result so far is an almost 50-50 split in seats between the governing NDP and the upstart BC Conservatives, except for the 2 Green Party seats, which will likely tip the balance of power and end up deciding who forms the next government. This election will be remembered for the phoenix-like return of the BC Conservative Party, 100 years after they last led the BC government. Conservative leader John Rustad said he will try and force another election as soon as possible to have another crack at winning a majority after just missing the mark. But the voters are never wrong. He should respect the decision that British Columbians have collectively made and work with the NDP as much as possible to move the province forward. If a minority government falls, there will be an opportunity to go to the polls soon enough. But forcing the issue after we've just gone through the entire election process, and one for the ages at that, is not what most British Columbians want. And Rustad could pay the price for going against the popular will. On the other side, in his election night speech, the NDP leader David Eby was not very charitable towards those who checked the box on the Conservative side. It's understandable that he would be bitter having seen a majority government slip through his fingers. But he's the premier, and he should be more respectful and considerate of all voters in the province. Eby himself has arguably fanned the flames of division with negative campaigning over the last several months. pitting neighbor against neighbor and family member against family member is not helpful, and it certainly didn't appear to pay off for him at the ballots box. The Premier should lick his wounds, listen to the message sent by over 1 million citizens who voted Conservative, Green, or Independent, and find a way to work with those across the aisle. Because finding common ground for all British Columbians is, after all, the job that he was elected to do. I'm Chris Beach, and this is a Northern View.
BC's Court of Appeal has reduced the sentence of the man convicted of shooting up the Vanderhoof RCMP detachment. Paul Russell was originally sentenced to 10 years in prison last November for the crime, but he's had his sentence cut in half after his lawyer successfully argued that Russell was a first-time offender who was suffering from mental illness at the time. 12 people were inside the detachment when the shooting occurred on November 25th, 2021, but no one was injured. RCMP are investigating a defacement of a rainbow crosswalk in Vanderhoof in what Mayor Kevin Moutre is calling a hate crime. Sam Bennison has more.
Well, to me, this could not clearly be anything other than hate.
That is the reaction by Kevin Moutre, the mayor of Vanderhoof, after an election night defacement of a rainbow crosswalk. On October 19th, people awoke to see the crosswalk outside Nechako Valley Secondary School spray painted with the words, quote, "Speak the truth and save the kids."
It really was a disappointing shock to the morning there. It does not represent who the people of Vanderhoof are and what we believe in, and it's just sad that a few people feel that they can make a message in this kind of way.
RCMP released footage of the area at around 12 a.m., showing two unknown, possibly male individuals in dark clothing and light shoes. Mounties say those individuals might be responsible, adding they were last seen walking away eastbound on Victoria Street.
Please hand yourself over to the RCMP. There is an ongoing investigation, and hopefully they will catch up to you.
This is not the first incident this year involving anti-LGBT defacement of property in Vanderhoof. In June, an unknown individual had cut up more than 20 Share the Love Pride banners. Mayor Moutre says these actions do not represent the community.
I really think it's important just to stick to the guns and show people that just one or two people's actions aren't going to tarnish an entire community.
If you have any information on the defacement, you're asked to call the Vanderhoof Police Department. Sam Bennison, CKPG News.
The John Hart Bridge will reopen to traffic in both directions beginning Friday morning. The John Hart Force Main Replacement Project started 2 weeks ago with the goal of upgrading essential infrastructure servicing the north side of the Nechako River. The city identified a need for this project back in 2019 after an inspection of the sanitary force main crossing over the Nechako River on the John Hart Bridge revealed areas of reduced pipe thickness and deteriorating hanger components. The project is expected to be fully completed by late February 2025, with awarded contracts totaling over $6.7 million. More civic news now. Some local businesses are without water due to a water main break on First Avenue. The breakage occurred between Lower Patricia Boulevard and Kingston Street and is undergoing emergency repairs. Crews will be on site possibly until Sunday as they fix the water main and repave the road. Traffic on Highway 16 East has been reduced to alternating two-lane flow in the westbound lane, and the city is asking everyone to avoid the area if possible. Following a successful screening of her documentary at the Vancouver International Film Festival, the Delta Dawn documentary has been accepted to the New York International Film Festival. Delta Dawn, or Dawn Murphy, is a former pro wrestler from Prince George, who's in the BC Sports Hall of Fame. But her documentary is about a lot more than just her career. It's also a story of reconnecting with her Indigenous roots. The doc will air in New York on November 21st, and Murphy says it's special to see her story on such a large stage.
I'm looking so forward to seeing how New York responds to some Canadian individuals and Canadian Indigenous as well. It's something that's just so amazing. You see your whole life kind of in front of you. It's kind of like you've just see these spectacular moments that flash through the past with you.
It's that time of year for the Hubble Homestead, the Halloween Spooktacular. Hubble Homestead is a popular destination, and the Halloween Spooktacular is the final event of the year for organizers. It will include activities like pumpkin carving for kids, a magic show by William the Conjurer, and a maze. But one of the most popular things about the event is the walk through Hubbell Homestead House itself, which is being run a little bit different this year.
Turn the historic Hubbell House into a haunted house. For that, you do need to buy tickets. We've changed up the way we're doing it this year. So if you've come before, you may remember long waits in the dark and cold. And so we've changed things up so that hopefully your wait is like a max of half an hour. So what we're asking people to do is to buy tickets based on the time slot. So 4 to 4:30, 4:30 to 5, etc. You can get tickets online in advance if you want, or you can buy some at the door as well. And so hopefully that'll improve everybody's haunted house experience. We recommend for that haunted house ages 12 and up, because we're aiming for it to be scary, but it's parents' discretion, so it's up to them.
Is Hubbell haunted?
Everyone asks, is Hubbell Homestead haunted? Personally, I don't think so. I've been in the house in the dark alone before, and I'm not worried about ghosts. I'm more worried about mice.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is sitting at $1.49.9 per liter at Costco. That also happens to be the lowest price in the province right now. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.29.2 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.66.7 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
Following a 3-2 shootout loss this past weekend, the Spruce Kings have brought in reinforcements to their defense ahead of a back-to-back this coming weekend against Powell River. Jaden DeBello brings us the latest from the Kings.
The Kings announced on Tuesday that they acquired 6'5" defenseman Isaac Holt from the Vernon Vipers, and while he's new to PG, he reunites with some familiar faces in the locker room.
There's already some guys on this team that I know from previous years. Will Moore, I played with him for 2 years, and LV, I've skated with him over the summers. He's an Ottawa guy, so and then Monty as well. I played against them growing up a little bit, and I've seen him kind of around the rinks in the summertime, so it's good.
Along with already having some chemistry with other Spruce Kings players, the Robert Morris commit brings a much-needed big body to the lineup.
He's got a lot of size. I think he knows the type of defenseman he's going to be. He's a hard to play against 5-on-5 defenseman that'll help us kill penalties. We're looking forward to seeing what he can do. He seems like he's got good character, and he's going to make us tougher to play against.
Just a big, heavy D-man, locking down back there, and making a good first pass and getting the puck up ice.
The addition is also welcomed by goaltender Carter Wishart, who's faced over 30 shots a game this season.
Isaac, he's a big boy, so he'll be good to have out there, physical defenseman. And then also Trent, he's very, very good hockey player, so I think those two will be great to add to our defensive core.
Trent Ledrew was also acquired earlier this week in a trade from the Blackfalds Bulldogs, a right-handed D-man the front office has been pursuing for a while.
Those two, we feel, instantly make us better on the back end, and now it's just getting them integrated with the team and some of our little details and habits we want them to play with.
They'll both suit up for the first time this weekend in Powell River with the hopes of snapping their 5-game winless drought against the BCHL's most scored on team.
We have a good opportunity in front of us. We're going there with the expectation to get 4 points, 4 huge points, 4 points that we need.
And there's no easy games, so we're not taking our opponent lightly by any means. I mean, we need to have a good weekend, obviously. We owe it to ourselves.
Jaden DeMello, CKPG News.
The TSX is down 143 points to close at 24,574. The Dow Jones is down 410 points to close at 42,515. And Artemis Gold went down 25 cents to close at $14.50.
Good
Good evening again, everyone. A wet night tonight in many areas, including right here in Prince George, as we have a pretty good chance of showers that will continue to fall as we get into the later part of the evening and overnight period especially. So tomorrow we could wake up to a few showers for sure, but satellite map taking us back today and really cloudy for the most part in many areas, but uneventful south of us. Futurecast next 48 hours. This is it here. This is that system, that frontal system sliding down much of the north coast really and kind of breaking apart a little as it moved inland, but we still saw some of that precipitation in our region and we'll continue to see that going into our night tonight. Tomorrow morning we might wake up to the odd shower or two, but through the later part of the morning and early afternoon we should brighten up. So a mix of sun and cloud is actually in store for most of our day ahead for Thursday. We will have some gustier southerly winds up to about 40 kilometers an hour or so, but otherwise a pretty nice looking day after we see those showers start to fizzle out. 6 degrees our high. Fort St. John will be up at about 6 degrees. It was a gusty one there today. Tomorrow should be a little bit calmer. We'll see more cloud cover down through the southern part of the province. It was a lot brighter today. Foggy in parts early morning, but certainly some nice sunshine by the afternoon. 11 in Vancouver. Victoria sitting under mainly dry conditions and some nice temperatures there as well. So back to our broadcast region. This is what it looks like for our Thursday highs. 5 degrees in Burns Lake. Some sunnier sky tomorrow. 7 in Fort St. James. Mackenzie sitting around 5 degrees as well. So a pretty nice looking day ahead for Thursday and Friday. And then we're watching another system for the weekend that could spread some more showers, although temperatures might be a little bit milder than what we see here. McBride, there is the potential for some showers there, but Quesnel looks to be nice and bright at about 8 degrees for a daytime high. West Coast, nice break from all the moisture the last several days, but a really good one, really pretty decent day today with some sunshine. A little more cloud cover there tomorrow. Across the country we go, 11 in Winnipeg, and then there's the big significant change over towards Montreal, Toronto. We've talked about them being above average temperatures the last several days, and then yes, now starting to see a drop in those temperatures. So 11 and 12 degrees is where we'll see the temperatures fall to there. Sun and then showers is what we're looking at for the weekend, and again we could see sort of a little bit of everything as we move through the next few days. But jumping ahead to the weekend, yes, the temperatures are actually going to bump up a little bit in some areas, and then we're looking at just that next system that could be moving through on Saturday. So Burns Lake around Saturday afternoon, especially showers or rain and snow. You could have sort of a mixture of all of it there, but tonight -5, partly cloudy and cold. We're looking at a few morning showers tomorrow, but bright by the afternoon, mostly cloudy with a few sunny breaks Friday. Mackenzie, -2 tonight is where we'll see the temperature get down to 5 degrees for the afternoon tomorrow, and that's kind of where you'll stay for the next few days, 4 and 5 degrees going forward into the weekend as well. Some snow and rain mixed on Saturday. McBride, -4 overnight tonight. We'll see some of that mixed precipitation tonight, maybe even a little bit of an accumulation through the overnight period, and then all of that switches over to just showers through the morning hours tomorrow, bumping the temperature up to about 6 degrees by the afternoon. So mainly cloudy and unsettled the next few days. A different story in Quesnel, though, where there's lots more sunshine to be had over the next few days. And for us, yeah, it's all over the place. There you go. We've got all sorts of different weather patterns coming through. -3 overnight tonight. We do have showers in the forecast that could linger into some of our day tomorrow, but still the potential for some sunny breaks there. Same for Friday. Sunshine, increase in cloud through the day, and then we're watching the next system for the weekend.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
All right, Jane DeMello joins us now. We're in the mood to talk a little basketball. It's opening night in the NBA. The Toronto Raptors are already giving me aneurysms, down by 20 at halftime. We're not talking about them tonight, though. We're talking about a little UNBC basketball. The season is upon us. They kick things off on November 1st. The men's team at least kicks things off on November 1st. And coming off of an interesting season, it was a special run to get a bronze medal in Canada West. But there's some changes this year. No Spencer Ledoux in the middle, no Darren Hunter. Chris Ross is also gone, the 3 seniors. How is this team going to look this year with a little bit of a new roster?
Yeah, you mentioned the changes. It's always tough when you miss 3 important guys, 2 starters, and obviously the 6th man. But you got to remember that getting the bronze medal finish they had last year, it's not just those 3 guys. Right. There's 2 guys that I'm looking at that I think will really take a step up this year. One guy, I mean, you can't talk about their run without talking about him, Justin Sunga. A little bit undersized, but Canada West and U Sports Player of the Week to wrap up the season in that final week to win the bronze medal game. So if you're getting the best out of a player playing his best basketball when it matters most, that's something to look forward to in the next season and see that step up. And then athletic freak Evgeny Balkin averaged 13 points per game last year, and he stepped up big time in the playoffs. I'd even say he might have been the X factor to that run. So he's got big expectations coming into this year, but I think he can live up to it.
Now, we mentioned the guys that are departing, but they've also brought in some new talent. Tell me a little bit about the men's recruiting class.
Well, the first player that comes to my mind is Danilo Gonzalez. He's a 6'5" shooting guard out of the Canary Islands in Spain. And he's quite the all-around player. I mean, offensively, he's got a great shot, and 6'5", having a great shot in Canada West is such a weapon. He can finish at the rim. He's also a great finisher in transition. But I think what's going to really give him the coach's trust in some minutes early on in the year is his defensive prowess. He can defend 1 through 5, and he's really tenacious on the other side of the ball, so that'll really help him have a big rookie season. And then the other guy, Milan Pasquale. If that last name sounds familiar, it should, because he is the nephew of Canadian basketball legend Eli Pasquale. So he's grown up having him in his life, and then also his dad Vito. They both played for UVic, winning championships in the 80s. So he has a very high basketball IQ, plays the guard position. And he's proven it in high school that it's not just the last name. He's got the game too. 28 points per game, 8 rebounds and 8 assists, and back-to-back Island AA championship MVPs. So he'll definitely push Sangha this year. It'll be some good competition in training, and hopefully he can bring that out to games as well.
You know, they used to call me an athletic freak out there on the basketball court, Jane. I mean, you played basketball with me. Would you agree? Do I have yours? No, maybe I might have lost a step over the last couple of years.
You work hard for sure.
Let's move over to the CKP3. We're going to talk about the women's, but let's save that for another day. Let's talk about the CKP3. What do you got for us?
Well, yesterday was a big night in the NHL. Frozen Frenzy, 32 teams, all of them in action. So I had to throw in a few goals from there. And then the NBA last night got off to a start. You talked about it today, Eddie. The Raptors getting kicked off, but LeBron James, Bronny James playing together, and Anthony Davis, well, he's still that dude. Check it out.
The Avalanche were in Seattle for a rematch of the Kraken's only playoff series win, and Jared McCann was looking to set a franchise first.
Loose in front on the backhand score! Jared McCann ties the game at 1.
With that beautiful backhand tally, McCann became the first Kraken to reach 100 goals with the club. North of the border, the Oilers were looking to win their third in their last 4 after dropping 3 straight to start the season.
Natchez, he's got Aho! He tees it up! Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Sebastian Aho silenced the Edmonton crowd with just 6 seconds left in OT, completing a comeback from 2-0 down. Over on the hard court, the Lakers hosted the Timberwolves to wrap up the first night of the regular season, and the Brows didn't disappoint.
The roller, Gobert, rejected! Anthony Davis just climbed the Stifle Tower!
Davis's emphatic rejection put a bow on a great first game for the former first overall pick, as he put up 36 points and 16 rebounds to go with the Lakers W to wrap up tonight's CKP3.
All right, folks, that's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us. As always, you can catch Caden Fanshaw up next with the Today Show, Jane DeMello at 6:30, and I will see you tomorrow. And remember, Prince George, some people don't think miracles happen. Well, they do. See you tomorrow.